Hey everyone, welcome to KSSP Podcast. I'm Spencer.
I'm Katie, and in today's series, we're going to be talking about food waste.
With that, we'll be going over a couple of different topics, one of those topics being prevalence. We'll go over some statistics on how common food waste is.
And we're also going to be talking about why it happens, and we'll go over a couple of different factors that lead to food waste.
And then we'll also cover why it matters. We'll discuss why it's important and why we should all care.
And finally, we're going to be talking about what could be done. We're going to go over a couple of different potential solutions we could use to tackle the problem of food waste.
So, to get started today, we are going to be talking about prevalence. With looking at the prevalence of food waste, we're just going to be going over a bunch of statistics here. So, first we're going to use a source of the USDA.gov/food waste/facts. And with that, we're going to look into how much food waste there is in the United States. So, in the United States, food waste is estimated at between 30 to 40% of the food supply. This estimate, based on estimates from USDA's Economic Research Service of 31% food loss at the retail and consumer levels, corresponded to approximately 133 billion pounds and $161 billion worth of food in 2010. This amount of waste has far-reaching impacts on society. Wholesome food that could have helped feed families is sent to landfills, and then land, water, labor, energy, and other inputs are used in producing, processing, transporting, preparing, storing, and disposing of discarded food. In 2015, the USDA joined with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to set a goal to cut our nation's food waste by 50% by the year 2030. So what baseline estimates of food loss and waste will be used to measure progress in reaching the 50% reduction goal? Well, according to the USDA, the United States currently does not have a single baseline estimate of food loss and waste. Instead, two very different measures describe the amount of food loss and waste in the United States. So, for EPA, their estimates, 2010 was selected as a baseline at 218.9 pounds of food waste per person sent for disposal. The 2030 food loss waste reduction goal aims to reduce food waste going to landfills by 50% to 109.4 pounds per person. And USDA estimates amount of food loss and waste from the food supply at the retail and consumer levels. In 2010, food loss and waste at the retail and consumer levels was 31% of the food supply, equaling 133 billion pounds and almost $162 billion. Neither estimate provides a comprehensive evaluation of food loss and waste in the United States. However, reductions in both these estimates will provide evidence of progress in reducing food loss and waste and the serious environmental impacts associated with landfilling food. A variety of other data collection efforts across the country will help provide on other segments of the supply chain. So, food waste in the US and Europe is a major issue, with over 1/3 of food produced in the US never eaten and up to 60% of fish caught discarded in Europe due to supermarket quality standards. This results in the wasting of resources and significant environmental impact, including land use, water use, pesticides, fertilizer, energy, and GHG emissions. In 2010, food waste added up to 133 billion pounds and $161 billion in value. Half of all produce is thrown away in the U.S. due to appearance, and food waste is the largest material in U.S. landfills, accounting for 24% of all waste. The environmental impact of U.S. food waste is higher than most other countries, with each unit having a greater impact due to the waste of more animal products and the food being wasted downstream. Currently, the U.S. wastes more food per person than any other country. And then just a few more stats here. So, overall, about approximately 80 million tons of surplus food are not consumed. 54.2 million tons go to landfill or incineration or are left on the fields to rot. Farmers, manufacturers, households, and other businesses in the United States spend $408 billion each year to grow, process, transport, and dispose of food that is never eaten. And all this about averages to 614 kcals per person. And it ends up amounting to 60 million tons of fruits and vegetables, the ones when they're thrown away if they don't look good enough. Estimates that include food lost or wasted during all stages of the food supply chain from primary production to consumption range from 73 to 152 million metric tons, which is 161 to 335 billion pounds per year, or 223 to 468 kilograms, which is 492 to 1,032 pounds per person per year, equal to approximately 35% of the U.S. food supply. And roughly half of this food is wasted during the consumption stage, so at home and food service, and fruits, vegetables, dairy, and eggs are the most frequently wasted foods. And some more numbers here. So each year, food loss waste embodies 560,000 kilometers squared or 140 million acres of agricultural land, which is an area the size of California and New York combined. 22 trillion liters or 5.9 trillion gallons of blue water, equal to annual water use of 50 million American homes. 350 million kilograms or 778 million pounds of pesticides, 6,350 million kilograms or 14 billion pounds of fertilizer, which is enough to grow all the plant-based foods produced each year in the U.S. for domestic consumption. 2,400 million juj or 664 billion kilowatts, I think, of energy, enough to power more than 50 million U.S. homes for a year, and then 170 million GHG emissions, excluding landfill emissions, which is equal to the annual CO2 emissions of 42 coal-fired power plants. And then this uneaten food also contains enough calories to feed more than 150 million people each year, which is far more than the 35 million estimated food insecure Americans.
So as we mentioned, a little more than a third of food produced is wasted worldwide. So just a couple numbers to start off with. An estimated 20% of food waste is on farms and storage or transit in industrialized countries. And in less developed countries, an estimated 30% is lost from inadequate storage, drying, or cooling and transportation. Now, food waste in farming, specifically, weather, pests, and disease account for a large portion of the food waste. Farmers can be financially barricaded from harvesting crops if the market sets prices too low, or if they can't afford the cost of labor. And large amounts of produce are waste because quality standards based off of the market aren't met. So these can include the shape, size, color, or the ripeness of the product. And people may want to place the blame on farmers for this, but if the food won't be eaten, then it's a waste of time, money, and labor to try and harvest it. They're also beholden to the standards of the market. And specifically in grocery stores, they overstock their shelves and accurately predict shelf life. They encourage their customers to buy more groceries than they need and damage products, and all of this contributes to food waste as well. So in the U.S., grocery stores waste 9.6 billion pounds of food per year. And 90% of grocery retailers say that reducing food waste is an important issue for them because they're going to save more money that way. However, over 50% say that they lack the managerial support and technological resources to effectively deal with it. And in restaurants and other food services, they contribute to food waste with poor menu choices, oversized portions, and mismanaged inventory. About half a pound of food is wasted per meal in a restaurant. This is from customers leaving food on their plates as well as common kitchen practices. And approximately 85% of the food that isn't used in a typical American restaurant is thrown out, but only a small percentage is recycled or donated. So the most commonly wasted type of food, these include 46.2% of potatoes, beets, radishes, and carrots are wasted. For fruits and vegetables, it's 45%. And then 34.7% of tuna, salmon, shrimp, and other seafood. 29.1% of cereal, bread, and rice. 22.1% of lentils, green peas, chickpeas, and seeds that make oil. 21.5% of chicken, beef, and pork. And then 17.1% of milk, yogurt, and cheese. So rather than focusing on social and cultural factors, most studies on food waste focus on individuals and their actions. This can be kind of problematic if we don't focus on all of these factors here, because not focusing on social and cultural factors, that's going to just lead to more misunderstanding on food waste. But okay. And then more than 42 million are food insecure people in the US. So if we were better able to allocate our food waste, we would be able to help these people with food insecurity.
So now that we have shown just how prevalent food waste is with a lot of stats, we're gonna be going over why this happens in our next video. So make sure to join us there. And as always, you can leave a comment below if you have any ideas on future episodes, that like topics you want to hear us talk about.
Yeah, you can reach out to us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And we do occasionally Twitch live stream. Probably be doing it about every other weekend now. So you can follow us on Twitch to see when we go live.
And don't forget to give this video a like, as well as follow or subscribe to our other social media accounts and turn on notifications so that you get notified when our new content comes out. Otherwise, we will see you all in the next video.